The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to another QuoteWerks 101, our regular series of short presentations giving you hints and tips for getting the most out of QuoteWerks. And in this session, I'm going to cover document defaults. So document defaults will help you save time when creating new quotations and also ensure a uniform way of creating those quotes. For example, to include common or default information that would typically go on your sales quotations. So good morning to those listening live. My name is Tim Wilmot and my company Wizard Systems. We're a specialist CRM system supplier who help out small and medium-sized organizations improve their sales productivity, marketing, and customer service through the use of simple and affordable solutions like QuoteWerks. Now, this presentation will be about 10 minutes or so in duration, just an overview of the document defaults area in QuoteWerks, not meant to be in-depth training. My company, Wizard Systems, we offer lots of different training and support options if you want to explore those with us. The audio part of this presentation is one way only. Those listening live, if you've got any questions, please type those into the question box on your meeting control panel, and I'll do my best to answer those at the end. Also at the end, I'll give you an update on any QuoteWerks product news for you. There's been a new release recently, and this call is being recorded. After the presentation, you will receive an email from our system with a link to the recording, which you can obviously play back as many times as you want to. And it will most likely be up on our YouTube channel as well. Just go to YouTube, do a search for Wizard Systems, all one word, and you'll see loads and loads of other videos up there. Okay, so just a brief mention about Wizard Systems, long-standing supplier of QuoteWerks and other CRM solutions. We provide the complete service around QuoteWerks. We provide the product, upgrades, implementation, training, and all the ongoing support as well. So a one-stop shop for all of your QuoteWerks needs. Okay, so let's get into document defaults then. So here is QuoteWerks. The way to define your default options for your new quotations is from your tools menu, and you will come down to options at the bottom there. And straight away, you should be on this area here, documents, the documents tab. Out of all of the other options, we have explored those in other previous 101 sessions, but today in this session, we're covering document defaults. And below that, there are three tabs. On the general tab is some really pretty much key information about every single quote that you're doing. Well, the first thing is, when you're creating a new document, what type of document is it? Now, the name of the product gives it away. QuoteWerks is essentially a tool for creating quotes, but it can also be used for creating orders and invoices. We do have clients, a few clients that actually just use QuoteWerks for order entry. So you could define that there if that's your process in your company. You're using, most of your documents that you create are going to be orders and not quotes. That's where you would change it. Your default tax rate, VAT in the UK, that is defined there. So every document every quote you create is going to have that correct VAT on it. Then terms, FOB, ship via, basically other term T's and C's and shipping information that you could define there. Customer purchase order, not sure why that's in there. Obviously, a customer purchase order would be pretty much unique to every quotation or sales order, but it's in there anyway. Currency. There's a default currency that you operate under. I would assume that most UK people watching this event are going to be pound sterling. But if you want to quote an alternate currency, you can do that there. And there is an exchange rate table changing capability within within QuoteWerks to make sure that is changed. Profile. This relates to the customer profile, the customer-based pricing profile. In your company, do you very often quote to, say, local government or your top customers, or you're regularly quoting to agents or distributors and they get a cheaper price? Well, as you may know with QuoteWerks, you can define special pricing for that customer, or that particular type of customer for certain products. That's where that could be defined there. So if you are more often than not regularly quoting to agents, then that could be set there. Due date can be interpreted in a number of different ways, different from the expiry date of the quotation. So that's where you would pop that in there. If you've got, say, a typical 30-day expiry on your quotations, but due date may be when you're expecting this document to come in. For example, the number of days from today's date, the number of days from the creation date of the document. Then we've got some more shipping information, shipping rates. You can also put in your shipping cost if there's a default cost to all of your shipping, or a default price that you want to pass on to the customer for your shipping. So cost and price there. Deposit amount can also be defined in there as well if you want to. The default deposit that you would expect on every new quotation. There's a few ways there of defining that value. For example, it could be based on typically the overall value of the quotation. And then quite a popular one down here, document name. So when you save that quote, what's the default name it's going to be? And this is a clever part of QuoteWerks, because this is where we have these macros. So this ampersand character together with a field after it is bringing in a QuoteWerks defined macro, basically a combination of information. It's a sort of intelligent way of bringing in a number of bits of information from the system. The macros that you could choose here, well, this one here is going to be saving the quotation name. When I actually save this quotation, it's going to be saved with the customer's name and today's date. All right, that's going in there. Where did that come from? These are actually the default ones. If you're just starting out in QuoteWerks, that's what you're going to get. But you can change that if you want to. So if I click on that little icon there, we will have a number of different macros, these system-defined macros. Now, these macros, well, they're going to be coming from three areas. They're going to be three different types of macros. At the top here, so this is in alphabetical order. At the top here, we've got ampersand APP, the application. So licensee is you, your name, your company name. So if for any reason you wanted that in the document name, that could be there. Typically though, if I just scroll down a little bit more, loads of app macros in there, your location. Right, here we go. Ampersand DH. DH is short for document header. Think of it as the main information about your quote. Not the actual items you're quoting for, but the general information about the quote. And there's, in alphabetical order, there's all that information: billing address, the person's name, payment options, who prepared the quote, their address, their phone number, loads of them in there. Many. So just scroll down, and the other type of macros that you get are system macros. That's where that date came from. So that ampersand SYS, system macro. So basically a lot of date fields in there that may or may not be relevant to your default file name. Now you can, with your cursor, click into there and type in some labels maybe around those field insertions. So I've got here, for example, I'm going to be, when I save this quote, it will have the customer's name. Well, maybe I might want to prefix that with quote 2, then a space. So every quote I save will be called quote 2 ABC Limited or whatever. A couple more check boxes down the bottom here. Generating a new document name when using the macro when duplicating the quote. So when you create a quote, you can duplicate it if you want to send it somewhere else, or maybe you're quoting for the same items to another supplier in a competitive situation or a contractual situation. You could do that there. Generate new document name when creating from a template. So there are quote templates in QuoteWerks. We've covered this on previous 101 sessions. So when you've got a very common quote, a bundle of items that you're commonly quoting for, you regularly quote for these products or services, that would be a template in QuoteWerks. So there you are, document defaults, but loads of other options in there for you. As we do now on our 101 sessions, if you've got any questions around this feature, please pop that into the questions section. I'll do my best to answer those. So first question from Robbie. Can we change the VAT rate for each quote for non-UK customers? Yes, so what I was showing you was just the defaults, but when you create a new quote, you just overwrite that 0 VAT or whatever for your overseas customers. Next question from Howard. Is the default name specific to the user or is it common to all users? This is common to all users. There are other sneaky ways of putting in that default name for other users. So that can be defined elsewhere, but this is the default for all users of this implementation of QuoteWerks. Amaya, can you prevent users changing these settings? Yes, you can. When you set up your users, you'll be able to disable this and a whole plethora of other information as well to stop users tampering with these settings. Maria, can you create your own macros? No, you can't. The ones I showed you are created by QuoteWerks themselves. They may create new ones when they issue new releases, but they are generated by QuoteWerks. I suppose something similar is that you can create formula calculations on your quotation. So that could combine or do some fancy display of information on the quote. So that's probably the closest you can get to it. So no, Maria, you can't create, those macros are generated by the system. Right, I don't think there's any more questions coming out. So thanks very much to those of you that asked those questions. As we normally do, in rounding up, quick update on latest news. So during the pandemic, this is November 2020. If you're listening to a recording, all our training is online right now. We're in England, we're in lockdown, so all of our training is online. To be honest with you, we've been doing online training for many, many years, so it's not unusual for us. But wherever you are, whatever topic you want to know more about during this time, please contact Wizard Systems for more information. We can record training sessions as well, make it very interactive for you. The latest version of QuoteWerks is 5.6. So you have these versions of QuoteWerks. So the latest one is 5.6, build 1.02. We're about to do a mail out of that. If you've got an annual maintenance program, this is the only way of getting QuoteWerks updates to make sure that you're signed up for the annual Upgrade Maintenance Program, or UMP as it's called, that you can get from Wizard Systems. And this will ensure that you are always up to date on QuoteWorks. These updates, you'll apply them yourself. They're not automatically applied. You have to install them, but it is very, very straightforward and very simple to do that. So that's it, me done then on document defaults. If you've got any suggestions for future topics, our weekly sessions, please email me. Anything that you think would be of interest to other QuoteWorks users, I'd love to hear from you. My name is Tim Wilmot. Email address is tim@wizard-systems.com. There's other ways there of connecting with us, but thanks very much for your time. We'll catch up with you same time next week. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.